Hey, howdy everyone. Welcome to the Saturn Slam review. The Jets kick off at 8:20 edition. So, lightning round speed challenge. We got NXT from 9/19/18 and night 3 of the Mae Young Classic. Let's not waste any time pussyfooting about.
Okay.
WWE NXT.
Starting off, NXT's. Let's start it. Lacey Evans and Aaliyah defeat Dakota Kai and Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah. They worked over Deonna Purrazzo for most of the match. Lacey Evans looked okay here because she only had to work half the match. I don't know how much they're behind Lacey Evans when they make Aaliyah work 90% of this fucking tag match.
Right. You only work half a match, but you got a full smile.
Yeah, she works fucking half this match. Looks fine compared to how she usually looks. But it's clear they're positioning her as like a top contender. And no thank you. I am not on board with this Lacey Evans push.
No.
Granted, Kairi Sane got probably the best Lacey Evans match there's ever been out of her. Last time they wrestled. Kairi Sane. But doesn't mean I want to see it again. Or I want to see it more than I'd rather see, I don't know, fucking anyone else in that spot.
Yeah. When I think of AC Levens and Aaliyah together, it's like a double vacuum. I don't know. Aaliyah never struck me as like talented.
No. She's been here for a long time. She hasn't really gotten any better in that time she's been here. I don't want to see anyone lose their job, but I think maybe she's taken a spot from another woman who maybe deserves it more.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not our place. We're just here to say that it was a bad match. Deonna Purrazzo, she's good. But this is what you get for winning in Mae Young Classic.
You have to lose to Lacey Evans and her fucking awful finish.
It's a formative experience for main roster WWE. Success is punished.
Honestly. It is. And, you'll just, the blonde lady delivering the punch or slap that pins you will change. But the main action will stay the same.
If you noticed, Becky Lynch's hair has gotten slightly lighter in these past pay-per-views. She's converting to blonde.
Fucking, yeah, jeez. Remember that time when Alexa Bliss pinned Bayley with a slap?
Oh, I do now.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm has forgotten. Jason Riker. Jackson Riker.
Yeah, his fucking theme song starts with "Do Unto Others," doesn't finish it, and just goes into like really super generic music. Jackson Riker, the former gunner of TNA Impact fame, he's got a physique. That's for sure.
Yes, he does.
He squashed a man.
Humberto Carrillo.
That guy.
Or Carrillo, if you're the announcers.
His finish was like the slingshot powerbomb the Miz does, but his looked a little more vicious. And he didn't sit out. And he pinned the dude, and that was that.
Yes. Some segments happened here. They weren't amazing segments, although I think we know who beat up Alistair.
Well, I've been throwing around wild accusations, hoping one of them sticks. Before it was Cassius Ohno, he was ruled out as a suspect, although I'm still not entirely sure I buy into that. My current theory is that it was not Lacey Evans, fucking Candice LeRae. She was just a little too innocent looking. She's like, I don't know, it sounds like Ciampa to me. Who does that sound like to you? I'm like, you! You're a snake.
You're- uh, yes.
You wanted to increase your husband's odds of winning because you know, as well as I know, and as well as Scott Steyer knows, that when you add a third guy into the mix, your chances of winning drastic go down.
Oh, speaking of things drastic going down, my my appreciation for the Street Profits continues to plummet after that segment.
Oh my fucking Christ. They're like, they do their fucking whatever they call their Snapchat show. And
Yeah,
this girl
solo
asked
cups
them,
in public.
yeah. Girl asks her a question. She's like, "Why'd you freak out when the mighty stole your chain? It was just a chain." He's like, "Just chain, just chain." And he like rambles off some black stereotypes about chains. And I throw it to Peter. I'm like, "Have the Street Profits been a really racist gimmick this entire time, and we haven't noticed?"
It's weird. Not comfortable. I need an
No.
adult. And we got adults for our main event. This was a big boy match.
We had Petey Pete Dunne versus Rick O'Theshea, and it was good. I wouldn't say about as good as you'd expect. I think I expected a little bit more, and we'd probably see a little bit more if they had, like an actual takeover match.
People out here calling this a 5-star match. The ending was pretty fucking solid. But, well, not the ending, but the last part.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I gave it 4.
It was a real nice main event match. I will say that. I will agree it was a good main event match.
It was good. It was not as good as Gargano and Velveteen Dream from 2 weeks ago.
No, it wasn't. I could just feel there's something off in the beginning. I think Ricochet he needed a little bit of time to get into his momentum. I think the part of his brain that tells him to sell was still in promo mode because his selling game was a little weak.
Yeah. Early on, Pete Dunne did Pete Dunne things, the joint manipulation and all that, and Ricochet, as Peter pointed out, did some very awkward selling of this offense. Eventually, they started picking up and hitting bigger and bigger moves, and they did have some nice sequences. This match wasn't bad. I don't want anyone to get that impression that it was bad, but it was certainly far from a 5-star match. And they hit some cool sequences in the end, and there was some pretty impressive countering going on. And the Undisputed Era ran in at the end, and the match ended in no contest. I mean, this kind of had to happen. I feel bad for NXT sometimes, because they tape this shit weeks in advance, and they don't know what WWE is going to do to make it look really bad. And the timing of this couldn't have been any worse after the finish of that Hell in a Cell main event.
Damn it, WWE! Your bad foresight is ruining us all.
It's like, remember in TakeOver Chicago, Gargano and Ciampa had a street fight? Originally, that was supposed to be a last man standing match. And if you recall, pretty much all the build-up to that led to it making sense to be a last man standing match. However, since WWE wanted to do AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match, for no reason, because their previous match ended with a double countout after they both kicked each other in the dicks, which could have happened in a last man standing match. They had to change it to a street fight. Poor NXT sometimes has to fucking work around WWE's mental giantness.
Yeah. It's too big for its own skull.
Yeah. I think this match was good. War Raiders came to clear the ring after Undisputed Era ran in.
Good build for the Undisputed Era War Raiders match.
Yeah. I don't know when that's going to happen.
I'm excited.
It seems weird. Like, the timing of it's kind of weird. Like, the next takeover is War Games. And you would think that you'd want to have, like, they've been building to the tag title match between the War Raiders and the Undisputed Era. But those are really people who you'd probably want to have in the War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
All right, I want to take a brief pause here, thinking about War Games. So, I'm thinking of 3 people you could have in there, 3 tag teams, right? You have the Mighty on one side and the Street Profits on the other. I think that's going to be a thing. And then who joins them?
In War Games? You want to put the Mighty and the Street Profits in a takeover main event?
I don't want to.
Lost your goddamn mind?
All right, maybe that's a bad idea.
I don't know. It depends. If they're going to do the 3 teams of 3 again, it gets really murky. If they're going to do, like, real War Games and have 2 teams of 4, then it's...
Undisputed Era should be a whole team.
Yes. Although, unfortunately, I don't think Bobby Fish is going to be clear to wrestle in time. He tore his ACL in March? That's optimistically... Like, if he's got, like, the John Cena, Seth Rollins healing gene, he might be back in, like, 6 months. Which would clear him for War Games, but usually that's a 9-month recovery, which would mean he wouldn't be ready till, like, December. But
if it's
that's
3,
only a month early. I don't know.
Yeah. I could see, if they're doing teams of 3, I could see 2 of them being British Strong Style back again, and the 3 people on Undisputed Era.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, if they're doing 3 teams of 3, what they could do is they could do Ricochet and the War Raiders, the Undisputed Era, and British Strong Style.
I like that a lot better.
That actually might work. I'm going to call Triple H.
Keep it in mind, boys. All right, keep that on your mind as we move on to Mae Young Classic Night 3.
Yep. This was about the same overall as Night 2 in terms of quality. I was told before the show that we were going to see a match that was far worse than Xerxes versus Ariel Monroe from last week. And I was watching all these matches with that in mind. And the first 3 matches were, like, okay to good. And I was like, unless this main event's a real shit storm, I think I may have been fed some bad info. I was not fed bad info.
Oh, no.
We
have three matches to talk about before we get there, of course.
Caitlyn versus Kavita Devi. Caitlyn making her return to a WWE ring for the first time in a long time. And she looked better than I remember her looking from a wrestling standpoint. She has much bigger and more obnoxious fake breasts than she did in her first run with the company. Like, these things make Charlotte's implants look modest.
Yipes.
But she wrestled pretty well. This was pretty much a squash match. She took the vast majority of the offense. She moved quickly. Her offense looked good. It looked hard. I don't know if that's because she's improved as a worker or she's just really hitting her. But she hit some leg drops in succession that looked pretty good, and eventually won with a spear and advanced, like, I don't know, 2 1/4 seems fair.
Yeah.
Ginny versus Toni Storm. This was the best match of the night, and maybe the best match of the tournament thus far.
Ray. Toni Storm is good, unsurprisingly.
Who'd have thought? And Ginny...
But she has no picture on her wiki yet. Why?
That surprises me, given how many pictures of her there are on other parts of the internet.
Hoo-hoo.
Jenny, I was not very familiar with going into this. I wasn't expecting much of her, but they showed some pretty neat moves that she's done, and heard a little promo clip. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be fine. And it was better than fine, I think. They both wrestled very well. They had a more of a back and forth match than I was expecting. Storm eventually got the advantage and hit what Michael Cole called Storm Zero, which is a Tiger Driver. I don't know if this is how she always does it, but on this particular Tiger Driver, she sat down way too soon.
Right.
But overall, the match was really good. Both women looked good. Toni Storm and Jenny looks like it could be a nice feud to kick off NXT UK's women's division with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I had no problems with this match. Gave it three stars.
3.5 for me. And the last one, yeah, I agree with you. And I'm hoping for a lot of more good matches from Toni Storm as this goes on.
Well, I've got good news for you.
Yeah.
She goes far in the
Fortune
tournament.
teller.
She goes. We had Karen Q versus Xia Li. Both of these women are of Chinese heritage.
Yes.
Xia
One
Li actually is Chinese.
The other is from Chinatown.
They billed her from Chinatown, but then she said she was from Queens, and I'm like, that's not where Chinatown is.
Wait a second. Yeah. But I love what you said to me. You said it makes so much sense. We're trying to get away from or increase diversity or some college pamphlet statement like that.
Renee Young's brilliant line on commentary. The commentary was awful. Renee's the best of the three, for sure, but it's the blind leading the blind out there. So she drops this gem. These women are really here to try to, break the stereotypes surrounding Chinese women as they're performing a kung fu sequence in their match. I was like, maybe not the best timing on that line, Renee.
And they do the cheeky, bows, the kung fu bows.
Yeah.
Over exaggerated.
As I stated, they opened the match with a choreographed kung fu sequence. It was pretty cool. It looked kind of hokey. It doesn't translate super well to wrestling.
Yeah, it's good to try. Good on you for trying. And then they wrestled some good wrestling.
They wrestled some good wrestling. They went for holds. They countered holds. They had some nice strikes. The turning point of the match was when Q missed a frog splash, which allowed Lee to hit a really fucking neat twisting kick to the back of the head for the pin. I think this match could have taken quite a bit of time away from the main event to give this match another 2 minutes, and I think it would have been a lot better. As it stands, say it was a solid 2.5 star effort.
Yeah, I'd say for the time it got.
Then we had Mia Yim versus Allison Kay.
I want to preface. So yeah, this was as we put together the information, Kurt texted me. He's like, "I think this is the one," just based on elimination. And I was like, "Okay," thinking about it. And as I heard their bios, I heard this phrase: "We've worked a lot together in the past," as they were showing their reels, their promo reels. And I'm like, "Oh no." Did they put them together in this opening match here because this was the only match they knew how to work? I can't do it with more people.
Probably not too far from the truth. Allison Kay, her promo video was something else. She, I believe, thinks she is a gangster of some sorts. She was using a lot
of hardcore Carmella type I guess she actually was a victim of like domestic abuse, and she supports that. So good for her. But her character,
I don't see how that's relevant to the thug lingo she was sporting in her promo package there.
I don't know. She grew up hard on the streets.
It was just like I couldn't take a fucking word she was saying seriously. They had a match. It was slow. They looked like they were moving at like 3/4 speed the entire time. It was sloppy.
They were calling their spots very loudly.
Which you think if they had worked as much as they claimed together, they would kind of have a match that they knew. Like Taylor and I wrestled each other at least 100 times. And we got to a point where we had a 10-minute match, a 15-minute match, and a 20-minute match we could do from memory with finishes for both him going over and for me going over.
It's all there.
So,
but not here.
It wasn't here, that's for sure. I don't know, man. The only spot I really remember from this travesty was when Mia Yim or Allison Kay, whichever one, went for a chop and missed and hit the post. And Michael Cole's like, "Oh my God, she broke her hand!" And Beth Phoenix tried to sell the severity of breaking a hand in a wrestling match, and I was just like, "My God, what am I doing with my life?" I texted Peter, "Remember the Cruiserweight Classic when all the matches were good and the commentary was good?"
I remember.
Why didn't we get a second one of those?
Because 205 was a self-defeating prophecy.
Probably. Yeah, probably they couldn't get anyone else to come back for another Cruiserweight Classic. Like, I saw what you did with those guys. There was at one point... All right, I remember a second thing. Mia Yim at one point hit the world's slowest Code Red. And this elicited "This is awesome" chants from the Full Sail crowd. I'm like, wow, this is the best crowd to have this tournament in front of. Because they are easy.
I feel like this is the best point to interject this because, of course the match was poopy. We saw Johnny and Candace in the crowd.
Yeah, and
they were looking nice.
Johnny's mom?
Maybe.
There was an old lady sitting next to Johnny Gargano, and he put his arm around her, so I assume that he knew her. Although he did...
Mrs. Gargano.
I mean, he did kiss a complete stranger after him and Ciampa won the titles at NXT TakeOver Toronto, so I don't know.
And Tyler Breeze was there.
Tyler Breeze was there. Shelton Benjamin was there. Apparently, he and Mia Yim are best buddies. And random wrestling connections.
Sure.
I mean, it's possible they both worked in the same indies for a while.
Yeah. And Mia won. She did the pin.
Yeah, she won with Soul Food, which is Gail Kim's Eat Defeat finish, sort of done from the top rope.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the top rope was about as good as outer space in this match.
Yeah, they did not go up there often, and they moved as if they were in zero gravity when they were up there. The person whose notes, I'm working off of someone else's notes for this. They weren't very good or detailed, so we'll probably use a different site in the future. But they gave this match an A-. After
were you watching the same match we were?
I don't know.
Person?
And this person also gave the Ginny Tony Storm match a B-. Perhaps they were confused.
Yeah. I'll give it 1 old star.
I will give it half of a star.
Fuck this match.
Yeah, this match was really bad. Hopefully, that's the last stinker that we'll have to sit through.
Yeah, who we got this coming week? We got an Io Shirai match.
Yeah, Io Shirai should be wrestling Mae Young Classic 2018.
And then we have Isla Dawn and Nicole Matthews. I don't,
Yeah.
or Lindsay Miller.
So let's see. We'll have Io Shirai and Zia Brookside. We'll have Nicole Matthews and Isla Dawn. We'll have
Rachel
Evers and Hiro Matsumi. That ought to be good. Rachel Evers is good, and
Yeah.
I don't know much about Hiro Matsumoto, but if she's anything like these other Japanese girls they brought in, she'll be good. And Tainara Conti versus Jessie Elban, which I don't know how good Jessie Elban is, but I do know how good Tainara Conti is, and that could be bad.
Yeah. Don't make that one the main event, guys. Make Io Shirai main one.
I can't believe Toni Storm was in the main event. I'm
So
still in
bad.
shock. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. I hope you all enjoyed this week of wrestling and this episode of the Saturn Slam review. We'll be back next week recapping more.
Yes. Bye-bye.